Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in again. Today we're filming a build of a APEX EVO 7. So APEX EVO 7 is a 7-inch quad. It's more designed for longer ranges. They can carry a heavier load obviously, and also can carry a bigger battery to last just a lot longer as well. I picked this frame because I do really like the look of it. Overall, I do like APEX sort of line of quads. So I've got a 5-inch quad and I've got a 7-inch now as well, which I'm going to build. So there isn't a lot of information online there to be able to show you how to build it properly and how to put it together. So we've got few things, and this will give you an idea what's inside the box and obviously what items I'm going to be using for this quad. So we've got the frame, we've got the 7-inch arms, so the longer ones go at the back and the front ones go at the shorter ones go at the front. Then you've got two supporting arms that go to the sides, and obviously your plates front and back, top and bottom, and obviously all your hardware as well. So in the hardware you get ImpulseRC gives you wire protectors, hell of a lot of screws as you can see, pad, battery strap, a couple of files, few TPU printouts, and the front for the O3 air unit standoffs. I'll be installing a DJI air unit on this. The range on these things are fantastic, so that's one of the reasons why I do want to use this. I will also install 7-inch props, amazing HQ props, 3.5 by 3, so 7-inch, 3.5 pitch on the helix, and also 3 by 3 blade. What else? Motors. So I'll be using the axes, flying axes motors, and the specs on the motors are 2807.5 at 1350 kV. So you can see the motor is pretty impressive. Such a nice finish to it. It looks fantastic, and I'm sure it's a great motor. Nice long cable to be able to fit on those really long arms, and still give you obviously a fair bit to be able to get it to the stack. So I've got 4 of those. Stack, we are going to be using 55 amp Speedy B. They are quite affordable stacks, which is really good, and also they look pretty impressive. I mean, look at this. There you got the ESCs and the flight controller. Another inside, obviously we've got the accessories, XC60 connectors, capacitors, and other bits and pieces. I'm gonna be hopefully using a Dogcom 3300 milliamp battery 6S. This is a 60C. I'm also hoping to get longer antennas for this, so we've got some UFL connectors to SMA, and that will give us a longer pigtail, so better range, better visuals. So let's see if we can get into it and start building.
Okay, so we start off with pushing the press nuts in and then screwing them in to make sure they're nice and tight. They're not going to move anywhere. And nice and flush as well. We have to do that to all the 4 arms. The next part is taking the part where all the stack sits, and then mounting all the stack screws. Now the original stack screws, they were too short for the stack itself, so I had to get and find another different type of screws. Done the other part as well, so all the press nuts are back in here as well on the rear component of the actual quad. So the bottom is coming with 2 different parts, front and rear bottom plates. So the original stack screws are not good because they stick out and they have to be flush to be able to fit them in. I had to source different types of screws that can basically fit. So I've put all of them 4 and I've tried to wedge the whole components together, but it didn't work. And next part, I decided just to sort of see if we can go through the arms attachments. The arm attachments is pretty straightforward, just a few screws straight in, and the tricky part is the actual wedge in the middle of all of them. So the wedge plate, or the little knob, it doesn't actually fit that easily. You have to sort of readjust a few things and make sure that it does fit. So loosen everything, screws, and then just pop it in and then tighten everything back up again. Once it's in, you can see that it is fairly tight and everything sort of fits in quite nice. So these ones are different stack screws, and they were original, I think, from memory, and I had to extend them a little bit longer, so I had to source sort of extension screws for that. With the supporting side arms, the cross arm reinforcements, I've decided to sort of make sure that I've got everything in properly before putting the press nuts in. So once everything is ready to go, you just tighten all the press nuts in and off you go.
Anyway, so we've got the back and the front. Nice.
After I put the first motor on, I've noticed that I had to loosen everything up in order to fit all the screws in on the back of the motor to mount the motor itself. So I had to loosen everything up, and I had needed an extra person to help me together to push this all in. The whole set, or the whole frame, sits very tight together, which is great when you're flying, because then obviously it doesn't move anywhere. But you kind of need an extra hand to be able to, you know, screw those screws in and make sure that they're nice and tight. So at this stage, what I wanted to do is put the skids in, and I've noticed that they don't actually fit, and that was quite frustrating. So I abandoned that and kept on moving to the next part by putting the back of the top plate on, so I can fit the stack in. Now the screws, like I mentioned, they had to be modified because they didn't fit the stack, and to make sure that everything is fitting in nicely. So once fitting in the flight controller with the top plate, I've noticed that the whole thing is very, very tight. So it's almost like they used the body of the 5-inch, they extended the arms to 7-inch, and they just stuck everything together. Now in this build, I won't bore you with the whole setup of ESCs and flight controllers and soldering and everything else. So just mainly, if you want to have a look closer, just have a look at my other videos, and that will give you an idea of what you need to do. Okay, so at this stage, I've noticed that the wire protectors that they give you, they're way too short, and they were really designed for a 5-inch again, and they were pretty useless to be able to use on the build.
2 weeks later.
Okay, the build is now finished. Thanks for watching. If you already made it to this stage, just to let you know and show you a few bits and pieces. So we've got a flight controller, 55 amp ESC. I've moved the capacitor to the front. The Immortal T is at the front as well. And also the back, I've printed a 3D printed
rear GPS holder and SMA connectors.
So build itself is not that bad, okay? what I do have an issue with is few things, and let me explain to you exactly what's going on. First thing, you're buying a premium product here. So Immersion IC Apex is a premium product. It's not for a beginner, it's more for advanced FPV users. Now, you're paying a top dollar for it as well, right? So you are actually paying a fair bit of money for this. Now, few things that I have an issue with, okay? So if you're buying a 7-inch, they don't provide you with a GPS mount of some sort. You only get shitty antenna thing for the back. I had to print this out myself. I had to look it up myself, find it, and see, you know, if it fits. You know what I mean? So that's one thing. Number two, overall, this is just like they haven't really thought about anything on this quad. So they gave us this protectors for the propeller strikes, or if a propeller is obviously, you know, I mean, seriously, like usually when the propeller bends, it bends here. So why aren't they longer? Do you know what I mean? Like they should be a lot longer, you know what I mean? So this is just from a 5-inch, you know, Apex frame, I guess. Now, second thing is they really haven't thought about this. So we've got those arm extension strengtheners. Now, it's quite obvious that they haven't really thought about putting these. They haven't really thought about, you know, the back ones are fine because they obviously worked quite well, and but the front ones, you've got one side raised, one side lower. I tried to print them out. There was no screws for it, so I had to get a different screws and everything else. Just so frustrating, this build, you know what I mean? Overall, this is a 7-inch, yeah? So 7-inch is more for long range, right? It's not for freestyle or whatever else. It's more for longer range, longer flight time and everything. They haven't, I mean, 7-inch should be a lot longer. The body needs to be a lot longer, you know what I mean? It's, if you look at this, I've got my 5-inch, right? This is my Apex 5-inch. This is the top for the Apex 7 Evo 7, right? Now, if you look at this closely, this is actually shorter body for like it. Fucking so frustrated, man. This top plate is actually shorter than a 5-inch Apex. You know what I mean? It's like, this is a 7-inch. You should be able to feed a longer battery on it, yeah? I bought specifically a 3,300 milliamp battery
to be able to fly for longer, obviously, and you'll be able to use it. However, with the GoPro, I can't use it. Now, they were probably thinking you use only 03 A unit for the footage. However, you can see the propellers in the view. So even though this is a dead cat, you can still see propellers in the view. So I'm not too sure what's going on here. But yeah, you definitely can't fit a bigger battery with a GoPro on this 7-inch.
They released this frame, fine. I mean, it looks cool, it's great. I got it because of the fact that, you know, it looks awesome, yeah? But they just released it really quickly. They haven't thought about it. They haven't really said to, you know, to the end user, hey, this is obviously premium product, but you know what? We're not gonna give you screws. So they gave us screws, like all these screws, yeah? ImpulseRC, mate, just, like seriously, man. Like screws, look what's left over. See what's left over? Like, so frustrating, you know what I mean? The bottom legs, or the skid, like useless, you know what I mean? Useless. They haven't thought about this build at all, and they just rushed it and they released it, you know what I mean? Missing parts. As far as I'm concerned, I had to spend so much more time and, you know, effort, you know what I mean? The battery strap that they give you, it's like tiny, a single battery strap. Like, I had to get this from my local supplier, Mantis FPV. It's like, you have to buy and spend more money on this build. Like, seriously, ImpulseRC, get your shit together, man. Seriously, it's so frustrating, you know? Great product, flies great, and you can have a look at all the build, like all the whole flying at the end, but, you know, like, okay, fair enough, you know, SMA antennas, fine, I want to, you know, buy it myself or whatever else. But like, they need to be able to provide a GPS, you know what I mean? These sort of builds, they come with GPS, you know what I mean? Simple as that. You're not gonna be smashing it on the trees or whatever else. Like, if you release a product, release a good product, you know what I mean? But anyway, look, that's my rant anyway. I think it's a great build, and it's definitely quite strong and it's quite impressive, you know what I mean? But there are a few things on this that are so frustrating with this, you know? And honestly, I think I'd rather buy a Chimera 7 over this. So I'm actually thinking maybe I'll get rid of this frame, and I'm gonna do some more testing on it. But so far, it's so frustrating. Oh, one more thing as well. Check out the screws. Like, seriously, let's check out the screws. Okay, can you see anything wrong with this? There's no Loctite. There is no Loctite on any of their screws. It's like, you know what? Put some Loctite on it as well. You're selling a premium product. Provide a premium product. You know what I mean? It's not premium at all. You know? Frustrating. Just flabbergasted. Anyway, so guys, thanks for watching. Have a look at the flying at the end, and let me know if your thoughts on this product, because I am frustrated with it. Great frame, but like, seriously unfinished. Anyway, thanks heaps for watching, guys, and I'll catch you on the next one.